Well, Mike, for those of us that do know you, for those that don't, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe a little bit about your background. Then we'll get into what you do.
So I consider myself a highly educated country boy. Grew up in the middle of nowhere on property that was granted by King George a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
Family property. And grew up in the construction, plumbing, electrical, HVAC business. We had a family business. Started working in that business since I was 7 years old. So when I went home from school, I didn't go home. I went to the store.
Wow.
So I got to do things at a young age that nobody my age talks about because they didn't have experience with plumbing with lead and oakum, things like that. So I grew up doing that, sort of a lot of older folks that I got to learn and learn from. A lot of great mentors, father figures you're talking about that were people that were coming in the store. And I had an interest in engineering and science, and so I competed in International Science and Engineering Fair and won grand awards twice.
Wow.
Doing solar, this crazy thing, solar technology back then.
Really?
Back in the 80s. And so from there, went to Georgia Tech and got a degree in civil engineering, and went and did forensic geotechnical investigations. My first property was a big house in Wildercliff that was $11 million in 1989 that was falling apart. And so we took several years and fixed that. I also did environmental consulting. I did some landfill design work, some around the Atlanta area here. So did that, did a lot of underground storage tank cleanups for gas stations. A lot of systems leaked back in those days. Mm-hmm. And was actually in Ireland celebrating in County Clare with a gentleman who helped develop Peachtree City, Georgia.
Wow.
I had done a lot of work for developers, and I told Mr. Cowan that I wanted to get out of the consulting world and get over in the development world. Atlanta real estate is one of those places that's a good spot to be for a long time now.
Yeah.
So he said, well, I thought, well, maybe offer me a job. Didn't happen. But a couple of years later, I got a phone call to develop a community called Echelon in Southeast Cherokee County. That got me into real estate. I had a boat and did the survey there for the pond and the dam we eventually built a $16 million Reese Jones Championship golf course, and sold home sites there that were roughly 1 acre, from anywhere from $220,000 to $600,000 for a 1 acre piece of land. And very quickly I realized that the developer didn't know what they were doing because I had more experience in Atlanta real estate than they did.
Okay.
And so I stuck it out until I realized it was going to fail. Mm-hmm. And so I left. I jumped off the Titanic before it went down.
Smart.
And so smart. And luckily there was a guy in Austin, Texas named Gary Keller who had this great company. Uh-huh. And so we flew down there and went through franchise systems operations, FSO, for a week.
Okay.
Learned what their philosophy was, business philosophy, and most importantly that he was designing a company around a culture. Okay. And that culture fit with my values. And so jumped in and became an owner agent with Keller Williams in Forsyth County, Georgia, which is a fairly affluent county and fairly a lot of business going on there.
Oh yeah.
And and I do work in all over Metro Atlanta, and so I still do a little consulting work every once in a while, not a whole lot.
Sure.
But mostly what I do is regular residential real estate. We have 220 something agents now. And I taught a class yesterday on one of our software packages. Oh, wow. And so it's fun. I'm at the point now where I get to help my friends out with whatever they need real estate-wise, whether it's investing or building a new house, which is got a big one going up, starting up pretty soon here. That's going to be fun. And then on top of that, I get to be an old head and mentor some of the younger people about how to build a business. And the cool thing about our business is you can do it a million ways.